This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. So the Kyle Rittenhouse trial has come and gone, and a killer has been found not guilty of murder. A killer has been found not guilty of killing two individuals and attempting to kill a third. As predicted, I tweeted this within minutes of the verdict the other day. As predicted, he is making the rounds to the right-wing, radical, white supremacist element of conservative media in this country, appearing the very first stop in his redemption tour is with Tucker Carlson, America's preeminent scholar of white supremacy, hosting his white supremacist fireside chat on Fox News on a nightly basis. The man who will not accept my challenge to a charity boxing match. Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. Military Expert. Crickets from Tucker Carlson. Crickets. I'm not going to play the interview, because it is exactly what you would expect it to be. It is just a retelling. It is a fabrication of the events of the day. At the very least, if we're to be charitable to what they're doing and try to instill some fairness and charity to interpreting what they did, it is just a public relations event to try to rehab his image. But I'm going to play the intro to the program from last night, where Tucker Carlson really sets the narrative before the interview, so you already have in mind a way to think. Because it really was a rewriting of history in grand fashion. Watch this 2-minute or so clip, and then let's talk about all of the nonsense on the other side.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. In retrospect, it's remarkable just how dishonest, how thoroughly and intentionally dishonest the media coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse story turned out to be. All of it was a lie. Rittenhouse was not a white supremacist. He was never in a militia. He never crossed state lines with a firearm. The protest in Kenosha was not peaceful. It was a riot, chaotic and violent. Many of the rioters, by the way, carried guns. Rittenhouse was hardly alone. Rittenhouse didn't go to Kenosha looking for trouble. His father lived there. Rittenhouse himself worked as a lifeguard in Kenosha. On August 25th of last summer, Rittenhouse went downtown to stand guard over a car lot. Here's the context. The night before, police in Kenosha had done nothing as the mob burned businesses, including another car lot, all the way to the ground. So the business owner needed Kyle Rittenhouse's help. He was looking to a 17-year-old for help, if that gives you some perspective on how bad things were, and he asked for it. As Rittenhouse stood there, rioters threatened his life. Then they attempted to kill him. In the end, Rittenhouse shot 3 attackers as he tried to run to the safety of the police. A number of media outlets claimed the men Rittenhouse shot were black. In fact, all 3 were white, and all 3 had serious criminal records. We could go on. Again, the media coverage was, from beginning to end, a tapestry of lies. If you watched the trial last week, you know that. But what about Kyle Rittenhouse himself? What is he like? Apart from his testimony in court, few Americans have ever heard his voice. Over the next hour, we're going to let Kyle Rittenhouse speak for himself. You can make up your own mind what you think. But before we start, one observation, which you can't resist making. It's hard to ignore the yawning class divide between Kyle Rittenhouse and his many critics in the media. Rittenhouse comes from the least privileged sector of our society. During high school, he worked as a janitor and a fry cook to help support his family. Last year, he got into college at Arizona State, and he's very proud of it. In the world Kyle Rittenhouse grew up in, it is not a given that kids go to college. It's not even close. During the course of our long conversation, Kyle Rittenhouse struck us as bright, decent, sincere, dutiful, and hardworking. Exactly the kind of person you'd want many more of in your country. He's not especially political. He never wanted to be the symbol of anything. Kyle Rittenhouse just wanted to keep violent lunatics from setting fire to cars. In the America he grew up in, that was considered virtuous. So if Rittenhouse seems a little bewildered at points during our interview, thinking back over the last year and what happened to him, that's probably why.
It doesn't start off good, does it? I got some notes here. We'll just go down the bullet points. He claims that he is not a white supremacist. Yet there are photos, a little Kyle Rittenhouse, the dullard, flashing the okay, the what has become what you wasn't before, but has been adopted by white supremacists as a white power symbol. There he is in his free as t-shirt, hanging out with Proud Boys, flashing white supremacy hand signals. Not a white supremacist? Not a member of a militia or a domestic terrorist group? Then why is he associating with them, Tucker Carlson? Why is he making their hand gestures? But we're not to believe you anyway, because you have claimed on many occasions that white supremacy is not a thing. The protest was chaotic and violent. Well, of course it was. Kyle Rittenhouse killed people. You don't kill people and not have it be a violent event. And then this entire narrative about him standing armed guard over a car lot. Because, cars, which are insured by the business owner, are more important than human lives in the minds of conservatives, apparently. And that the business owner needed Kyle Rittenhouse's help. And not that he's a 17-year-old, but that he's a stone-cold dullard. And then he goes on to set up the sympathy. That Kyle Rittenhouse this is really an example of the class divide, painting a picture of a kid who grew up poor. College wasn't on the table for him. He was a fry cook and what was the other? A janitor. He could be talking about me. It doesn't excuse taking human life. I grew up poor. I bagged groceries. College was not part of the calculus for me. I joined the United States Marine Corps. I didn't cosplay as a cop like Kyle Rittenhouse. I didn't tote a weapon to be a cool guy. And I grew up exceedingly poor. We had the free cheese, the big giant weird blocks of cheese as a kid. The white boxes of Farina rather than Malto meal. Free lunch, welfare, food stamps. Back in the day when you would pull out the little coupons of Monopoly money. I grew up poor. That's not an excuse. That's not an explanation for anything. Millions of people are in poverty right now, and they're not killing people. And then the fact that he calls him bright, decent, sincere, dutiful, and hardworking. Hardworking, maybe. Dutiful? Come on. Just because you slap on a cadet's uniform and you have an obsession with firefighters doesn't mean you're dutiful. Sincere? Maybe, I guess. He was sincere when he killed those men. Bright? Come on. That's a stretch. And then also, we'll end it with this. If he seems bewildered, he means dumb. If Kyle Rittenhouse, Tucker Carlson here, if he seems bewildered by simple questions or confused by basic concepts, it's because he's just so beside himself because the America he thought exists doesn't exist. Come on. We're going to see more of this. It's not just going to be from Tucker Carlson. And you mark my words. Look, it wasn't a stretch to say that now just wait for the insufferable media appearances with the white supremacist right-wing media. That's not some kind of a prognostication on my part. That's an obvious thing that's going to take place. But my other prediction, if it's a prediction, would be this, is watch Kyle Rittenhouse's attitude throughout these interviews. It's going to change. He's going to go from this meek and confused dullard type to a far more defiant individual once he gets comfortable with the cameras and the lights and the questions and the attention. It's going to be a different Kyle Rittenhouse in another 6 months. One who is openly cavorting with Proud Boys again, wearing his bizarre, disrespectful, shitty t-shirts. Maybe, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the kid goes off to Arizona State. Good for him. High school dropout, gets into college. That's a good story. He has a chance here at some redemption. I doubt that it's going to happen. But I hope for a redemption for everybody. The redemptive tale is something we should all not just aspire to, but encourage. If he can turn this thing around after having taken the lives of 2 people. Anyway, what do you think? I would really love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. You can follow me on social media, tell me how I'm wrong, or telling me how I'm right. It works both ways. Trust me, it works both ways. And if I bring you value, if I bring you some kind of a joy or information, or even if you hate me but you want to support my work, it's been a long morning. You can do so by clicking the join button below this video. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can become a channel member, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Both those are fantastic ways. The other thing is holidays are coming up. If you got a family member who likes the show, or you want to prank them and buy them a t-shirt for the show that they hate, hey, all that's good. There's a merch shelf below this video on YouTube, and you can click a t-shirt as a gift or for yourself. Now I'm just turning into a QVC salesman. So anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.